all the previous masterclasses are being uploaded to the YouTube page, to the YouTube channel. And once that is concluded, we will just send out a notification so that you could go. We'll send out a notification so that you could go check it out. Please confirm that you can hear me by typing. You can see me clearly and you can hear me loud and clear by typing into the chat. Thank you very much. So all our master classes, previous master classes, will go up on our YouTube channel so that you could refer to them. So we're calling that YouTube channel Maduka's Masterclass, and you can get it. You can get it on YouTube. The second thing is that we've started live streaming our masterclass sessions. Masterclass sessions have from today we will commence live streaming also on the YouTube channel. So that means that if for any reason we max out on our capacity, today's Zoom capacity is up to 500. So even if we're more than 100 people, that will be fine. But if for any reason we max out our Zoom capacity, it is very easy for you to pick up from the YouTube channel where we will be live streaming as well. All right, announcements over and done. It is I hope that it will take us 10 weeks exactly, one session per week to get through the current topic, which is mastering Microsoft Word. But if for any reason as we go along, it becomes obvious that we need more than one class to tackle a particular session, we will let you know so that we don't choke you. That we don't choke you and we don't do too much within a session. All right, so today we are going to go straight into the conversation. All right, so mastering MS Word and Google Docs for technical writing. MS Word is Microsoft Word, is among a suite of Microsoft applications that have become quite famous for helping us get across to, doing a lot of technical stuff quite easily, presentations, calculations, documentation. I mean, Microsoft Office packages have been very useful and have been there for us over the years. Google Docs is almost like a sister to Microsoft. In some cases, are actually a rival to Microsoft Word, and it looks almost like Microsoft Word. It's just that it is an online documentation, online, app only. You do not have an offline. If you download a Google Doc document, you're actually downloading it into Microsoft Word on your system, on your device. Okay. All right, so today's is session one, which is formatting and layout, understanding and mastering formatting and layout for mastering Microsoft Word for technical writing. And the objective is to facilitate your understanding of what the best practices are for formatting technical and then even academic documents. And then demonstrate simple actions for formatting and layout on Microsoft Word. It will be useful and helpful if not today, in future classes, if you want to practice as we are having our conversation. It will be useful for you to join in on multiple devices if you can, so that one device you are looking, the other device you are actually practicing. If you have two laptops, or you don't really need to join in on multiple devices. You need to join in on a device different from the device you're using to practice. I think that's a better way to put it. You join on multiple devices, you just take up all the space, but other people will find useful to join in and participate. So you can join on a particular device that you would be using to look, and then you can have your laptop as a secondary device beside you where you actually practice. We learn best by doing. We learn best by doing. So why this session? Why are we talking about Microsoft Word, and then specifically why are we talking about formatting and layout? To answer this question, I want to show you another document. So this is a document we're going to be using, but I want to show you another document and ask you to put into the chat box for me. I will scroll up this document just a bit slowly, and I'll ask you to please put into the chat how you feel. I know we are all technical people, so you want to please tell me what's wrong. No, don't just hold on with what is wrong. Tell me how you feel reading or looking or observing this document. How does it make you feel? What emotions, if any, does it evoke? Can we put in the chat box so that we are participating? What emotions, if any, does this evoke? What emotions does this evoke for you, please? Let's look at it together. You can put your thoughts into the chat box. I'd like to see our thoughts. I'd like to see our thoughts. Somebody said it's chaotic. Somebody also said I feel uninterested. Somebody said it does. I don't feel that this is organized. Uh, Somebody says that I feel exhausted. I feel exhausted. Somebody says I feel stressed. I feel stressed. You just me. If it's me, I'll write my eyes paining me. Where am I looking? I mean, it doesn't it's discouraging? Yeah, somebody says it's there. This it feels discouraged reading this. Um, It'll take a couple more. Some says it's giving me mental fatigue. Somebody says I'm feeling stressed. I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this. Okay, so that I don't stress you anymore, let me take you away from here. Let me take you away from here. Let's come back to this. So it's very important for you to know that aside from the content, the technical content, how good is your writing? Um, how you write and how you organize your writing reflects on you. I mean, I told a story in one of the earlier master classes on technical writing. I told us a story about how I had done a technical assignment, a consultancy. I actually did a training, facilitated a training, and then they asked me to do a report. I did that report. That was, I mean, oh, many years ago, maybe 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. Then, about 5 years later, when I'd gotten some capacity building and some competence in report writing, I found that document. For some reason, I was going through my folders and I found that document and I brought it out and I was ashamed of myself. I felt like, can I email these people and tell them to please, if the document is still anywhere, they should bury it, they should burn it, they should thrash it, because I was like, Hi. Wasn't only just about the why how I was writing. It was about how I used Microsoft Word or how I didn't use Microsoft Word, how my organization, my formatting, my layout, typographical errors, the way the sentences were aligned, font type, font size, how it was just a mess. And I felt really, really bad, you know. But the good thing is that I felt that way because I had grown. So I had learned how to do things a little bit better. So we all should be on a growth curve. We should all learn. We should all learn. How you present written information affects how that information is received and understood. So you remember the experience we just all talked about, the experience we just all commented on, how it's like it's difficult for you to even want to read what this person has written. It's tough for you to even want to, you don't even feel like reading it. And that's because of how badly it was organized, how badly it was organized. All right. And of course, if you're skilled in using Microsoft Word, it saves you time, energy, and gives you the best result for your efforts. A couple of disclaimers, three actually. One, I don't know everything to know about Microsoft Word, so I am not going to be able to teach you or show you everything you need to know about using Microsoft Word. There's no way. Uh, you probably need to do more learning. I'm learning, you're learning, we're all learning. So I cannot put myself in the place. So you may ask me a question I don't know, or you may you may know more about a particular thing than I do. Please feel free to share because we're all in this learning journey together. We may be using different versions of Microsoft Word. Things are pretty much about the same for the basics, but version issues may mean that I am showing you something somewhere and it is somewhere else in your own version. So please just be patient about that. And then if you are stuck, you can ask in the chat box, and somebody with your version who knows may be able to point you at where that thing is, an icon, a tab, where it is in your own version. So I'm using Microsoft Word for Office 365. 365. What do you pay attention to in formatting? What do you pay attention to in formatting? You need to pay attention to font size. We started out with writing technical documents, knowing that font size 12 was the golden font size. Nowadays, people are excited and happy for font size 11. But the text as font size 14 or font size 16 is too big. And font size 10 or 9 or 8 as a Word document font size is too small. So think about it. If you want to use 14 or 16, you should be talking about the titles and headings of your paragraphs and of your chapters, not as the text in the body of the document. So, for example, what you're looking at is font size 11. The font type, Times New Roman used to be the gold standard, especially for academic writing. Each group, each organization will have their favorite, but these are the common ones, either Times New Roman or Calibri or Arial or Cambria. These days, people are favoring things like Aptos. People are also favoring Garamond. I know some organizations that is Garamond they use. If you have a unique font type that your organization uses, you can put it in the chat box for us all to learn from. The organization will probably have a culture. Now, look at it. A smart rule of thumb is that look at the font size prescribed for you to use to write what you're supposed to write. Read the instructions. If there are no explicit instructions, what you can do is check the document that was written to you. If you were written a document saying we need this document from you, what font type did they use? Use that and give them back. If there's a template, what font type is the template in? Just continue. We submitted a grant application in the late hours of yesterday, and they used Calibri Light. I will in my life never be excited about using Calibri Light. by myself for myself. But that's what they want, and that's what we did. Very straightforward. No need to disturb yourself. So paragraphs, it's a good idea to separate main ideas, one main idea from the other main idea by a paragraph. And how do you do a paragraph? You just simply, when you are typing, this ends my paragraph. So you put in, let me not do this here. Let me permit me to just go straight down. So I've typed something. Once I click on enter and I hit the enter, it doesn't just go to the next line. It actually gives me an opportunity to start a new paragraph. Start a new paragraph. And then there are paragraph settings that I hope before we shut down this morning, I can show you. So, but I just wanted to highlight that a new idea, a new thought should start on a new paragraph. The same thing with sections. Let me just quickly jump and talk about sections. So, for example, if you have introduction, then you now have materials and methods. Those are separate sections, yeah? So you should have you should be able to break your sections. And I'll show you how to use section breaks. And typically, if you're using section breaks, a new section will start on a new page. You can also have chapter breaks where a new chapter starts on a fresh page. Remember, sometimes you see documents where chapter 2 is entering into chapter 1, the ending part of the page for chapter 1. And it's not very nice because you want to give the sense of I have finished something, I am starting something new. Follow me. Also, spacing. We used to talk about double line spacing for academic writing. And if that is what is prescribed, please use it. But these days, we are comfortable with 1.5 and sometimes 1.15. Sometimes they will tell you single spacing, which is 1, which almost looks like there is no space at all. And it may look choked and crowded for a big document. Then generally, the more voluminous your document is, the more careful you should be about spacing. If the spacing is not good enough, at least minimum 1.5, that it gives it like somebody can breathe while reading your work. That's how it makes it look. Font and background color. So typically we do black text on white background. But do you know you can change the background color of this Word document? How many of us have ever seen that before? And you know what to do. Change the background color of the Word document. And I think you can see where my cursor is. I just want to demonstrate that. If you see my cursor is moving around the ribbon. My cursor is moving around the ribbon. Let me be sure. Let's go be sure that people can hear me. All right, we are still on course. Okay, so this is my cursor. If you go to view, sorry, go to design. I don't know where design is if you're not using 365, but this is where my own design is. File, home, insert, draw, design. In design, at the very end, the second to the last icon, you'll see page color. Page color. You click on it, you have a lot of options for changing the color of the page. You see that? As I'm clicking on it, the page color is changing. So this is, but we will hardly use this for technical writing, except it comes in the template provided to you by the people who are asking you to write something for them. Basically, we'll be happy to just stay with white and then black text, color of the text being black, and then the background being white. So you need to be consistent in your formatting for headings, and you will see why in a bit. Then also inserting page numbers is important. One of the things that probably would have thrown you back about this document is that there are 3 pages, there's no page number. If for any reason you print this, you may not know there's no heading. You print this, you may not know where, I mean, which one is starting what, where is the first page, second page, and third page, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, it's also important to have competence in using lists and bullets, and then using document and text styles. When we talk about text styles, this is styles here. Styles. Is it a heading style? Is it a body of the document style? Is it a quotation? Um, is it so? What type of style? I think we should be able to come back here. So let's demonstrate a couple of things, okay? Let's go and demonstrate a couple of things very, very quickly. Um, Yes, I would hopefully before we end, I will show you how to insert page numbers. Let's demonstrate a couple of things. So most of what you need to format the work will be on home page. Now I must tell you on the home ribbon, the home tab. And when you click on the home tab, icons will pop out under it. And those icons are font, paragraph, and styles. They are grouped into 3 major types: font, paragraph, and styles. And most of your formatting will either be a font formatting, a paragraph formatting, or a style formatting. So that pretty much covers most of what you need to do for formatting. Now, a rule of thumb, many people type in anyhow they like, then come back to format. I do not subscribe to that school of thought. I subscribe to the school of thought of format as you write. Format as you write. Get your font size, your font type, your line spacing, your form, your paragraphing. Get it set as defaults. Get it set as default. So let me show you. I'll come back here, but let me go to a blank sheet. Let me go to a blank sheet. Before you start, set your formats. And that will be what will continue throughout. So for example, my system here is set on Aptos. I told you I recently discovered it and I really like it. But I want to go to Times New Roman, which is what most academicians use, and I want to set it at 12. I don't want Times New Roman heading. I want Times New Roman, period. Um, all right, so Times New Roman, fine. I think it's at heading because he knows I'm about heading. Okay, full size, font size 12. I want my text automatic black so that it will type as black already. I won't have an issue. So I hope you're seeing where my cursor is going. This is the font color. This is the font color. Here is the font type. The font type. Here is the font size. I mean, these are things that pretty much most of us know. Now let's come to paragraphing and let's look at line spacing. Line spacing, I want to do 1.5. So I will set it from the beginning. I would set it at 1.5. All right. Okay. So my paragraphing has also been set. Um, so this is a test page. All right, a test page. And then I want to centralize that. I enter, go back, and I start the usefulness of You see that as I'm typing, I've already set it. I've already set it on Times New Roman. I've already set it on 12. Unlike I have typed in, then I have to come back and format. That's time, extra time, waste of time, energy, and effort. So set from the very beginning. Let's go back. Let's go back. But if for any reason you didn't set, you come back and then of course you take the time, take the paint, and you format properly. So how I want to make I put in a heading and I want to make it bold. So just click on bold or Control B. But so you can either click on bold, then start typing, it will be bold, or type, highlight, and make it bold. Any which way. Or you can click on this I that is slanting, that is italics, we know that. Or you can underline. Take the italics back and underline. If you don't want the underlining, you can take it, away. You can use change case to make it uppercase, lowercase, sentence case, or capitalize each word. It's up to you, depending on what formatting. Typically, we will say the main title or the chapter title should be in uppercase. But again, this is dependent on the preferred format by the organization you are writing for. So anything I'm saying is not as important as what the organization says they want. However, as a general rule, the first title will be in uppercase, and then if they are chapter headings, they should also probably be in uppercase throughout. Then, if you want to have different section headings, you will do capitalize the first, capitalize each word. Capitalize each word. That means the first letter in each word will be capital. It just gives it this, oh, we are in the heading. There's a sense it gives you that, okay, I'm trying to get you to pay attention. Then any other written text will be in sentence case. If you have any questions so far, just put it in. I want to move to paragraphing, but not before I tell you that you can use this to increase your font size and you can use this to decrease your font size without touching this. Okay, but you can also touch this and type in or click on this particular font size you want to use. All right. Now, when it comes to paragraphing, when it comes to something about paragraphing, I said earlier on, you can set your line spacing. Let's see what line spacing this is. This is 1.15, and this is 1.5. So I'm using 1.15 throughout for this document. Your organization may prefer 1.5. So you can set it or you can unset it. Now, typically when you are typing, your default would probably be on Microsoft Word with you. Most of us have that on our systems. Your default will be to leave a space between a paragraph space between what it considers to be two paragraphs. So if you see this, you see that this is not just moving from one word to the other. There is some extra space. There's some extra space here. And what this space is paragraph space. Paragraph space. I can remove it. And you see that it is back to the 1.15 between these two lines. Or I can leave it. What is important is that you stick to the format provided. One, two, more importantly, be consistent. So it would be sad to have paragraph space in some and no paragraph space in others. This is how your work starts to look like you don't know what you are doing. So you can remove all the spaces, you can put all the spaces, you can set it so that there are spaces before the paragraph, there are spaces after the paragraph. It's just a help. Spaces help reading, helps assimilation of the information because it gives your brain an opportunity to think. Okay. Please, I'll come back and answer your question. All right, that's fine. Now, here, let's look at different types of indentation. Most of an alignment. Let's go back to this document. All right. Let's see if we can correct. I've highlighted everything. I want to correct it to Calibri. I want font size 12. I'll remove this. Remove this. Remove the bold for all of them. I want it to be 1.15. I want to be sure that I have them all as Calibri and all of them as font size 12. So it's actually looking better, but something still doesn't feel right to me. Now, different schools of thought. Some school of thought say keep a left alignment, which is, I mean, for documentation, and this used to be, I mean, the case in the past, that we will align your content left, not center. I mean, you would probably want to do some designing to align center. And I have no idea why anybody would want to align left, except they're actually doing like a graphics design or something where it's just design-wise, it is nice. So most of the time, we will align to the left. However, to improve readability, you can also justify. Justify means that for all paragraphs, as much as is possible, it will start and end on the same line. They will all start on the same line, which is the left indent, but they will all also end on the same line, which is justify. So it's becoming a much more preferred thing to do to justify. However, justify has a peculiar problem. A peculiar problem. Let me see if I can show it. This is what happens when you try to justify. All right. So sometimes when you try to justify the whole of this sentence, excuse me, the whole of this sentence will spread from here to here, making it look very clumsy. What do? You just put your cursor at the end of the sentence and click enter. You will find out that what will happen automatically is that it will align back and end. So what happens is that it spreads as if there's so much space and it's not so nice in between the words, and it doesn't look very nice. I hope what I'm saying is uh, what I'm saying is helping. So you want to keep a space between your paragraphs. So look at this. It's very obvious that I've moved from one line of thought to the other because there is a space between this and this. And you see that it's different. This space is different from the line spacing. there's an even amount of space between each year, but there is a paragraph spacing. So if I want to remove that paragraph spacing, I can say remove space after paragraph. And it does no longer look like a new paragraph, but it is a good idea to keep your paragraph spacing. Okay. Okay, we have a few minutes left. Let's talk about paging, about pagination. To be able to insert pages into your document, you can start at the beginning before you even start typing anything and set it up, or you can finish your work and arrange um, your pages. What do you do? Insert. Insert. Click on insert. When you click on insert, you will see uh, maybe the third to the last set of icons: header, footer, page number. So let's focus on page number. So there are predefined page number types. Do you want your page number at the top or at the bottom? Do you want it at the top or at the bottom? This is typically what we do. We typically would use at the bottom. And for, most academic writing, at the bottom, in the middle. You see, this is left, middle, right. Most times you say we would prefer that you say, okay, page number at the bottom, middle. But there are other styles, so you can just explore with this. When I'm writing a technical document, I prefer to use page/1. You can come up with your own style, but remember what they want, the people who you are writing for, what they want trumps what you like, so that it automatically page 1, page 2, and page 3. Page 1, page 2, and page 3. Now I want to talk to us about headers and footers. A header is different from a heading. So a heading is, if this a heading, so this is biography of O.J. Okay. And that I've given it a heading, it's in uppercase. I want it to be bold. I even may want to increase the font size. So it's font size 14. I'm happy. A header is, if you notice that there is this space at the top and at the bottom that you cannot type on. You cannot want to come and start, so you want to start typing from the top, except you activate header. Now, how do you activate header? Go to that top part and double or triple click. So click multiple times, double click, I just tried it now. Click multiple times and the header opens up. Alternatively, when you go to insert, just above this page number, you see header. So you say insert header. It will open up for you. So the thing about the header is that anything you insert here, anything you insert here in the header or in the footer applies to all pages. All right. So let's go do that for the footer. Let's look at that for the footer. Let's say I want to put the date 01. See that it goes there. So you decide what you want to do. about how to use headers and footers. Okay, let me pause and let me see if there are questions that are outstanding or anybody want to ask questions. Um, we could take the next 2-3 minutes to do that. Let's see. All right, indent. Do you remember that in those days when you start a new paragraph, you don't start every word on the same line. You want to indent. For example, another reason why you may want to indent is that you want to do like a list. Let me go back to this version. Notice that by the time I started writing 1 and 2, it's not starting on the same line with the session. That's what an indentation does. Sometimes it's automatically set in your Microsoft Word. At other times, you will have to create an indent. And how do you do it? This is decrease indent. Put your cursor there, and it moves. If that is this form, if this is the format you want, a decrease indent. It's just to organize and arrange your work and your layout so that it looks nice. But whatever it is, stick to the format. Please stick to it. If you start by indenting left in once, please stick to it as you go along. All right. So, Peace, you said you tried to make uppercase and it didn't work. Please try that again. It should work. What's the footer used for? Your footer is used to put in like maybe an information about that you want repeated. Maybe like who authored the work, or maybe like dates, like I did. So, John, we will do the next another session. We'll show you how to do a cover page and how to do differential page numbering for the earlier pages and then for the rest of the pages. It is scheduled for another session. We will take it in another session. Yes. How do you remove the header? You double click where you had initially clicked, you delete it, and it is gone. And it is gone. And it is gone. Okay, so color, go to design and go to page color. And you will see that you can put in, you can make the color of your page different. All right. Okay, so let me quickly show page templates. Go to layout. Page templates, go to layout. You see size. Size. So I've set mine as default to A4. Most of yours, most time Microsoft comes and the default is letter. So you can set your default to be A4. So, and there are many different sizes. A5, legal, executive, so on and so forth. But typically for academic writing, we use letter or A4. Taking your questions. Oh, yes, it does. So the only way you can is that before you start typing, you set a default. I'm answering the question about capitalize each word, and then we will just wrap it up for today. You set it on capitalize each word. Yeah, so It's not like if you set it, you have to now come after you have typed. This is only if something you can do after you have typed. After you have typed, you now come and capitalize it further. It's not something that you do and then it will now follow that format. No, that's the peculiar thing about that. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us today. Um, okay, let me explain header and footer. Uh, your page has what we call ruler. If you look at my page, you will see something that looks like a ruler, small ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on this side, so above and beside, there's a ruler. If you don't know where your ruler is or you are not seeing a ruler, please go to view. Please go to view and click on ruler. View and ruler. You can see the ruler. If you want to reduce your header and footer, you simply click on the ruler and drag it up. You can see that it's going up, and drag it up. The same thing with the footer. You click on the ruler and drag it down. So you have created more space on the page and less space for. Another thing you can do under layout is margin, adjust margin. So there are various margins. Typically, you will be at normal. Most documents, your margin is supposed to be 1 inch on every side, top, bottom, left, right, 1 inch on every side. That is the default, and that's what most times we want you to use. But you can now decide to do a narrow margin, a wide margin, a normal margin. If you do a narrow margin, that means if you look at the ruler, it's now starting and giving me only 0.5 inches on every side, all right, on both sides, which gives you more space for writing. If you are looking at how you want to write and cram more things on the page, or you're trying to do something so that everything enters one page, those are some of the adjustments you can make. All right, I think we'll call it a day for today and say thank you for joining. This is our first masterclass in mastering MS Word and Google Docs for technical writing. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be back. Next week, Wednesday, we will be back. And next week, Wednesday, we'll be looking at another masterclass session still for mastering MS Word and Google Docs. So remember that your registration, which you have done, covers the 10 masterclass sessions. And the Zoom link that you used to get into class today is the same Zoom link that you will need for all sessions going forward. You can decide to be there with us every session, or you can decide to pick the session that you are interested in. Very excited that you are here with us. I'm very happy for your presence. Please keep learning, keep improving, keep getting better. Happy Independence Day, everyone. God bless you. Bye.